We've lost a whole bunch of cats. There was a van pulled over that had over 100 cats in it with the Haitians. They said they was eating them.
Actually?
Yeah.
Not fake news.
Not fake news.
So a van was collecting cats and eating them.
I watched it happen, yeah. Watched them get pulled over with the cats and admit to the police that they was eating them.
You're not joshing with me.
No, I'm almost 50 years old, buddy. No.
You don't mess around.
No.
These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into... They flipping cars in the middle of the street. I think it's crazy, bro. We got to do something, bro. It's kids out here getting hurt. Only reason I even went on here and said something about it is because somebody told me they walking from the school and a Haitian almost ran into them.
I'm done with what I'm seeing. It is so unsafe in my neighborhood anymore. I have the homeless that were trying to camp out, and I have made concessions with them, and I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property. But it is so unsafe. I have men that cannot speak English in my front yard screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard. And I can't. Look at me. I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to. My husband is elderly, and last night, after living in this home for 45 years, he said, Noelle, guess what? It's time to pack up and move. He said, we can't do this anymore. He said, it's killing both of us mentally. I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens.
And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to, seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at, that's what they're used to, bro. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them
We've lost a whole bunch of cats. There was a van.
All right, I wanted to go back to one of the pieces I played for you a second ago from Fox. It was from a town hall, actually, not from Fox News. I'm going to rewind it a second. You want to hear this lady? She's a little old 95-year-old retired lady, and her husband's kind of, I guess she has to take care of him too. Here we go.
It's time to pack up and move. He said, we can't do this anymore. He said, it's killing both of us mentally. I don't understand what you expect of us as citizens. Our city services are overwhelmed and understaffed, but who's protecting us? If we're protecting them, who's protecting me? I want out of this town. I am sorry. Please give me a reason to stay.
All right, so there you go. That's the truth in Ohio. And those are what the people are saying at city council meetings in Springfield, Ohio, that live there. So then I have this for you. This is from the Daily Mail today, an exclusive. I am a duck rescuer in Ohio. She started a duck rescue company, Mid-Ohio Waterfowl Rescue, since 2015. So this is a legit lady who rescues waterfowl from abuse, from neglect, or from needing to be taken in. She literally says she's inundated with calls from Springfield residents amid allegations of illegal or legal, whatever you want to call them, migrants from Haiti that are eating wild birds. She discovered the, quote, unusual amount of birds which have disappeared in the region and now has serious concerns they're being murdered for food. The disappearing birds are a lot higher. They have far exceeded last summer's past summers in the region. She says she has numerous people reach out to me about the situation, wanting me to help the remaining birds that were recently dumped for their fate as the same as their cousins. It's a very disturbing situation. Even more disturbing ones are the ones laughing and making jokes about it. I think I played the one of the guys saying that Haitians are loading up like 90 cats in a van and driving away. Yes, I did. And so there's some other stuff here, too, about crime skyrocketing. And it's just, this is a horrifying nightmare, and it's all because of Kamala and Joe. This is their invasion that they want and they wanted. This is what they want. Couple questions for you. Do you believe Kamala and Joe's illegals are eating ducks, cats, and pets? And do you think Trump should head over to Springfield, Ohio right now and do a press event? I think he should, and I think his people should get all these different people here and have them all come up and have them ready for you each get a minute and we're going to meet with you. Trump's going to give a speech for 5 minutes, and then he's going to bring you up and he's going to interview you. You'll get about 30 seconds to a minute to say what you want to say, and then we're going to line everybody up so they can say it, and we'll have it in front of the press. Have a press conference. I think he should do that ASAP. The first day he does not have available is the first day he should do this. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you believe Kamala and Joe's illegals are eating ducks, cats, and pets? And should Trump head to Springfield, Ohio to do a press event? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Now, apparently listen to this town of Springfield, Ohio, and if you think it's not going to come here or other places, you are wrong. The town of Springfield, Ohio has 58,000 people. They have been invaded by 20,000 Haitians since Joe and Kamala took over. I repeat, a town of 58,000 has 20,000 Haitians that have invaded by law because Joe and Kamala have let them in under this what's it called, I can't remember it now. Status. They have not protective status, but they have. It'll come to me in a second. Not refugee, but it's asylum. But here's the thing. This does not have to be this way. It's all through the Biden-Harris administration. They don't have to have 20,000 in it all. They don't have to let them in. There has to be political persecution, religious persecution, and these are just people fleeing violence, and that does not qualify. That does not qualify. So here's the deal. This is Joe and Kamala's choice. And that's why Trump should put a spotlight on this. He mentioned it yesterday or 2 days ago at the debate. He must go now. I'm going to tell you something else. Lines wide open, by the way. We got 4 minutes to take your call. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We can put you on right away. Lines wide open. I'm going to tell you something personally. I don't know if you remember, but I told you about last fall. I went to see my dear friend. My wife and I did. Our dear friend and her kids. She lost her 15-year-old boy. And they live in Queens, and she's was Air Force, and we met her when we were in Middle Georgia at Warner Robins Air Force Base years ago, and we're besties. We're sweet, dear friends, and we always will be with her. She's from Haiti. She came here when she was 14 years old from Haiti. And what she says about the Haiti and the people is unbelievable, what you're going to hear me say. And I'm going to couch it and do the best to just let you know these are her words, not mine. And it stunned me then, and it still is unbelievable to hear me. But I mean, look, she's our dear friend, and she has been. And she would know. She lived there. Her mom came here as an adult. Her mom and her came down and visited with us years ago. Her mom passed away, but we love them dearly. They're dear friends of ours, okay? And their children have been besties with my children since they were little tiny ones. There's a picture of us from like 10 years ago when they came from out of town and stayed with us, and they came up to the radio station. Me and my kids and their kids, and they're all tiny. It was wonderful. Anyway, she said it's basically a satanic place. And it's all voodoo and wicked, and the people are wicked. And she literally has no sympathy with the earthquake and all this stuff. She's like, it's hell. These people are wicked and evil. Basically says, good riddance. That's how she thinks of the Haitian people and the country of Haiti. And she's from there. So she knows. And her mom knows. Her mom passed away she's older. She's like, all right, So that's what she says. And this is who Joe and Kamala are invading this country with. And they're flying them in directly. Two of them raped two girls, one a developmentally disabled woman and one a little girl in Massachusetts. Let's take Judy in Saginaw. Judy, WBAP.
Yeah, it's Julie, but...
sorry, Julie. It says Julie. I have dyslexia for a minute there. Go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, I do believe that they are eating animals, and yes, I do believe Trump should go and have a press conference and, prove that not only was he fact-checked wrong, but that it's really happening.
Yes, and it is. I appreciate your great call, and it is. I've got another story here that I'll share with you next at 17 after the hour. At two different locations, the illegals that Joe and Kamala brought in are eating different animals, taking them, stealing them, and eating them. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Thank you, Julie, for your great call. Appreciate you in Saginaw. We've got 4 lines open. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Is my questions for you are: do you actually believe Kamala and Joe's illegals are eating ducks, cats, and pets? And do you should Trump head to Springfield, Ohio now and go to a press event? What do you say about that? Do you agree? And do you think they're eating those dogs and those pets and those cats? I'm going to share with you more direct comments, and I still have more audio from people saying the horror that Joe and Kamala have brought there. This is literally the disaster of this country. He needs to go there. He also should go to Aurora, Colorado. He should go to New York, where the well, I mean, everybody knows what's New York, but he should go to Aurora, Colorado, and he should do a press conference also in Springfield, Ohio, and then maybe he should go to where Jocelyn Nungare's body was found and say this is the last resting place of a 12-year-old girl. Her parents are massive Trump supporters now, and they say he's the only way to get this fixed and solved. And she, of course, is in the Houston metropolitan area. She was killed there by Joe and Kamala's illegals. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. You're going to hear about three different illegals in 2 different states also eating animals that are either pets or treasured local animals in the community. That is next on the Chris Crock Show at 17 after on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227.
I got a lot of friends that have been born and raised here, and we feel like our city's being taken over. Is there a cutoff point that, I mean, for the population here? Or, I mean, I feel like there should be a no vacancy sign. Things are going to get ugly.
If the Haitians, as everybody wants to talk about, wants to come here and better themselves, it's all well to do.
I'm scared. I'm scared for the women here. I'm scared for my granddaughters.
You're asking for more money now for immigrants, and our people, our citizens, are living on the streets. They're not being taken care of. If you're going to, while you're asking for more money, include our homeless people, include our veterans.
Well, there you go. So many things going on there. City of 58,000 has 20,000 Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. My question is, do you actually believe that Kamala and Joe's illegals and Haitians and such flown in are eating ducks, cats, and pets? And should Trump head to Springfield, Ohio and do a press event? Absolutely. Here's more from that, by the way. Our line's wide open at News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here's one of the women who spoke at the City Council Commission's meeting. Actually, she spoke on Fox and Friends this morning. Resident of Springfield, Ohio. Diana Daniels. It breaks my heart to see people that I taught, I guess she was a teacher, and their children experiencing this. It took center stage Tuesday night when Trump referred to Springfield. She says, if it took something like this to get the spotlight flashed on us, then so be it. We've needed help for several years, and maybe we're going to finally get that. The sad thing is, it's more of my money being spent on a problem we did not create. The uptick in the crime stats show, according to Fox News, the uptick in, according to city officials, actually, the city officials say there's been an uptick in crime, mayhem, and car crashes due to the massive invasion of new Haitian people. So 20,000 new Haitians in a town of 58,000. 1/3 of the town is now Haitians who don't know how to drive at all. And when after you're 18 years of age, you can get a license. Because Kamala and Joe gave them refugee status, or what do you call it, asylum status, and wants them here and invaded them, they actually have the right to drive under Ohio law as long as they're over 18 and they don't have to take a driver test. Isn't that insane? So they're destroying the town of of Springfield, Ohio, and Trump needs to go there stat. And I do believe they're eating animals. I don't know what. There was one resident said they're loading them up with vans and they're eating them. And they said that to him. Here we go, though. More of Kamala and Joe's illegals. 16, 17, and 18-year-olds accused of brutal killing of beloved swan mother named Faye in a New York town, and then eating the bird where refugees from Myanmar are. They, in the middle of the night, they climbed a fence. This is a 105-year-old line of geese in Syracuse, New York. That's like the town, like it's all the town. It's an official thing, you know what I mean? And they jumped the fence in the middle of the night. They stole Faye. And because she was nesting and didn't fight back, the suspects brought her home to cook for dinner. This is in the Daily Mail from June 5th of this year. Oh, no, June 5th of last year. Her children were also abducted, but were later retrieved by authorities unharmed. This is the second time Joe and Kamala's illegals that the immigrants have killed and planned to eat a precious bird. In March, 2 Honduran illegal migrants were arrested after shooting down an American bald eagle they plan to cook and eat in Nebraska. So this is Joe Biden's and Kamala's illegals. They have imported the third world. They have imported a third world. And this is what happens in third world countries. They shoot your animals and they eat them. Also, I have this from Fox News. Resident Lisa Haynes, 64, recounted an incident where illegal migrants were bullying her at a supermarket. They blocked her cart, refused to let her pass through the aisle. Another resident, Diana Daniels, I think that's the one who was on Fox and Friends this morning. It is. She told a city council member she blamed the cultural clashes for countries that are defined by their culture and their language, not color. When folks stand up here and describe what's happening to them, they're often painted with a broad brush of racism. It has nothing to do with it. Shame on you. I try to help them the best I can to keep them from trying to squat on my property, but it's so unsafe. I've learned they cannot speak English in my front yard. They're screaming at me, throwing mattresses in my front yard, throwing trash in my front yard. Look at me. I weigh 95 pounds. I couldn't defend myself if I had to pack up and move. It's killing us mentally, her and her husband. I don't understand what you expect of us citizens. Who's protecting me? I want out of this town. I'm sorry. Please give me a reason to stay. Another guy said, when am I going to get my money back? That's what Joe and Kamala have done to America. All over this country. Coming up next, Tren de Aragua is all over this country. Over 100 documented crime cases in like states all across this country. It is it's MS-13 on steroids, according to a top department DHS official. You're going to hear there's a sprawling piece in the Wall Street Journal about how dangerous and wicked Tren de Aragua is and how they're all over this country and how the top DHS officials right now are saying this is a massive violent threat. And it's in North Texas. They're in Dallas. Joe and Kamala did this. We're going to talk about that coming up at 33 after the hour here next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Okay, I want to get right into this. This is a lengthy piece in the Wall Street Journal today that I read through, and I just kind of highlighted the highlights of it so I wouldn't get too lengthy. The headline on the Wall Street Journal today was one of the top things they had on the website. Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua expands its deadly reach to the U.S. They're known for dismembering their rivals from Chile to Colombia. Late last year, the Journal says, a top Homeland Security official, they have his name here, but it's irrelevant to you, he got a call. Hey, have you heard of Tren de Aragua? A Texas official asked. Please don't tell me you see them. Yes, they're here. They're established a base in Texas. They are operating here. Now, this is late last year. Now, this top Homeland Security official, his name is Anthony Salisbury, he says there are dozens of criminal cases involving the gang in Miami alone, where he's based. By the way, they kidnapped and murdered and did a home invasion of a former Venezuelan police officer who lives legally in Miami. He's dead. They kidnapped him and murdered him. Here's what he says. Salisbury says they expanded fast in Latin America and they're expanding fast here. They are, the journal says, a fearsome transnational criminal force. They are MS-13 on steroids, they say, as one top federal official said, put it. They are entrenched in many United States communities right now. This is all because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, by the way. That'll be in a moment. And I've been telling you this for years, but this is it. They have established drug distribution networks, extortion rackets, and prostitution rings as they make new homes elsewhere in Latin America. More than 700,000 illegals from Venezuela have settled here in the past 4 years, thanks to Kamala and Joe. 700,000. Tren de Aragua members are suspects in the shooting of 2 New York police officers, the killing of a former Venezuelan police officer in South Florida, I told you about that, and crimes from Chicago to Texas. Law enforcement authorities say there are now more than 100 investigations into Tren de Aragua across America. The Venezuelan originated gang. Tren de Aragua means train of Arago, which is a state in Venezuela. They are well established already in Colombia, in Peru, Chile, Ecuador, and other countries. So you're looking at a massive transnational terror organization, the strongest gang, most fearsome gang this side of the hemisphere is what I believe, and I've been telling you that. Quote from the Wall Street Journal: the gang is looking for better opportunities than those in Venezuela. And I told you this 8 months ago. We are a fruit ripe from the tree to be picked, and they're here killing us, raping us, and stealing from us, and subjugating us, and putting our children and illegal children in sex trafficking. The chief detectives of the New York City Police Department says it was like a wave. It was like a wave of crime like we had never seen. Their members for Tren de Aragua are difficult to identify because Joe and Kamala have allowed them to enter the U.S. through the southern border and share migration paperwork among themselves. It is difficult for police to determine a suspect's criminal history. The U.S. does not have diplomatic ties with Venezuela. There's no way for us to find out who they are and if they have a murder warrant. Look, this is the chief of detectives for New York City. They could be wanted for murder in Venezuela. We wouldn't know it. Do you see what Joe and Kamala have done to us? They have brought in the most violent terroristic gang that is MS-13 on steroids. They have imported them here for the first time in America. They've imported them in all over this country, and they're here, and they're taking hold. They are in North Dallas. Joe and Kamala did this. I told you in the last segment how they've destroyed Springfield, Ohio. But now your daughter may be raped, your husband may be murdered, your wife may be dragged and murdered or robbed. It's here. Dallas police have confirmed it in North Dallas. They are dismembering. They dismember their rivals, says this the Wall Street Journal. They leave the remains in garbage bags on the streets. They've done that in Colombia, in Bogota. A gunman fatally shot. They also extort businesses. Give us money. It's your vaccine, they say, to protect you. They extort businesses. A gunman fatally shot a worker from a business that failed to pay from behind as he was outside arranging produce. They extort restaurants, small shops, anyone. It's an organization that's involved in everything. The gang looks for earnings. In Chile, there were possibilities. The body of a man was found. They kidnapped a Venezuelan dissident from his apartment in Chile, and his body was found in a suitcase buried under more than 4 feet of concrete in a nearby shantytown. It has been a very shocking experience for the Chilean society. Chilean officials attribute a 31% rise in murders since 2019 to Tren de Aragua. Kidnappings have more than doubled in the past decade. The number of foreign victims of perpetrators of homicides, many of them from Venezuela, have risen rapidly. They're killing them all. I added the killing them all part. Tren de Aragua is trying to challenge Colombia's most powerful and armed militia. Do you understand? They're coming into Colombia where the cartels are, and they're taking them over. The Gulf Clan, they are now trying to challenge the Gulf Clan in Colombia, which traffics cocaine and illegal migrants to the United States, thanks to Joe and Kamala, and smuggle metals from illegal mining. Tren de Aragua is now dabbling in both moving illegal migrants and extricating illegally mined gold. And they have a big market for narco trafficking in the U.S. As I read this to you, I want to scream, I want to swear, and I want to pound this desk. Joe and Kamala have bought in people that will rape you and kill you and extort you and pimp you and dismember you if you compete with them. This is Kamala freaking Harris murdering us and raping us and killing us and laughing about it with no accountability. One man will take these people the heck out of this country and dump them in Venezuela. They won't take anyone when we bring back. Guess what? He'll do it. You know he will. He will. Maybe he'll make a deal with their neighbor, Colombia or Chile, wherever it is, and make a deal with them where he'll say, you know how he works. He'll drop them off, and he'll have Colombia or Chile drop them off at the border, and with armed guards or with military, they're military, and they'll just have machine guns. They'll say, "You're going to cross the border right now. We're going to kill you," and that's what needs to be done. Never again. 15 million. Get them the hell out of this country now. I got a lot more for you. How Joe Biden and Kamala Harris paid for Tren de Aragua to take over Aurora, a suburb that is just like here. Maybe it's like a Plano. I'm not kidding you. How do you think they did it in Aurora, Colorado, which is a suburb that literally said, they literally passed rules saying we will not take any, so we're not a sanctuary city. We despise and will not take any of the 42,000 illegals that have come into Denver. They're a sanctuary city. We don't want them here. Yet Tren de Aragua has taken over apartment buildings. They're beating people. They're extorting people with machine guns, go to door. So that is next, how Joe and Kamala actually paid for all that, for them to take over Aurora, a suburb that doesn't want illegals. So their politics obviously are not going to be liberal Democrat like Denver. That is next. Here's my question. Lines wide open. I want to hear from you right now. Do you think this terror gang, Tren de Aragua, is a real threat to us? Do you blame Kamala and Joe? Like I do. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Do you think this terror gang, Tren de Aragua, is a real threat to us? 100 cases across America, established in Texas. They're in San Antonio. They're in El Paso. They're now in Dallas. They're in New York. They're in Chicago. They're in Denver. They're in Miami. Do you think this terror gang is a real threat to us? And do you blame Kamala Joe like I do? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Four lines are open. We'll pop you off right away, and you're going to hear how Joe and Kamala, according to the New York Post expose today, paid for all that to happen in Aurora with the takeover of the illegals from Venezuela and the Tren de Aragua. All that is next. All that is next. In fact, I have two articles, New York Post, and I also have the Daily Mail, saying how Biden's migrant money turned Aurora, Colorado into a crime playground for the Venezuelan gangsters. Yes. All that is next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. That's coming up at 46 after the hour. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. MS-13 on steroids is what officials told the Wall Street Journal Tren de Aragua is. I went through the lengthy piece. I'll tweet it out on my Twitter feed in a moment, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. The New York Post says that the illegal migrants that got money, what it is NGOs. Joe and Kamala have stuffed $10 million, $4 million on two different NGOs. They've renewed it again for the next year. They're getting millions and millions of dollars. The NGOs put up these illegals from Venezuela in housing, even though it's not a sanctuary city, Aurora, Colorado, from Denver, where the illegals have invaded there because they're a Democrat city. And in fact, that's why they're there, and they were brought in by these groups, these NGOs. This is from the Daily Mail, actually. In 2023 and 2024, Kamala and Joe gave them $4.8 million one and $774,000 the other. They have now secured an extra $10.5 million and $2.9 million for this year from Joe and Kamala, and that's settling all these Venezuelan illegals. That's how Tren de Aragua got in the apartment buildings. Have taken over a suburb that does not want illegals. Second of all, they have taken over a Wisconsin town. They're terrified, says the representative that represents that area, the congressman. A member of Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, was arrested for brutalizing a woman and a daughter in a tiny Wisconsin town. They said it was only a matter of time, the rep says, GOP rep, before tragedy struck thanks to Biden and Kamala. A 26-year-old illegal who's Trinidad sexually assaulted and physically assaulted a woman under particular brutal circumstances, holding the woman and daughter against their will over the course of a period, sexually assaulting and physically assaulting both the mother and the daughter. This guy is a Trinidad member, and he is in the town is unbelievably. You're not gonna. It's on the border of like Wisconsin and I think Iowa or Wisconsin and Minnesota. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. Trinidad is in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, raping women and daughters at the same time, brutalizing them. So there you go. I mean, it's everywhere. So my question is, it's all because of Joe and Kamala. They only came in 700,000 they let in since Kamala and Joe took over. Do you think this terror gang, Trinidad is a real threat to us? And do you blame Kamala Joe for this invasion and takeover of the most violent gang this side of the hemisphere? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Who do we go with first? Okay, Jim in Lubbock. Jim, WBAP.
Yes, sir. Got a little experience with Venezuela drug gang in L.A. At the Grauman Chinese Theater right across Hollywood Boulevard from Jimmy Kimmel Live. Got surrounded by them, but they lost. And I've got a solution for these people. It's called cargo ships. You want to bring large cargo into the U.S., we'll help you help us. Put them on the cargo ships, all the fresh frozen carp they can eat. It's an invasive species in the lakes. Send them back with the cargo ships, and that's for the Haitians too. No first-class flights back to these countries, and that's all I really have to say.
Okay, I appreciate your call. It's Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, where the mother and women were tied up and violently sexually assaulted and brutalized and beaten, kidnapped. Let's see here. So that's in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, which is in the middle of nowhere. It's unbelievable where Trinidad is there. And also here in North Texas, as I've mentioned. Let's go to Farron in Weatherford. You're on WBAP. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris should be removed from office because they've broken the oath that they took, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. There's immigration laws on the books, and I know that because I had to become a citizen. I'm here from Germany, and they've broken the law, and they should be removed. It's unconstitutional.
Well, I mean, the thing is, our last caller, and also I'll tell you, too, that the only thing that's going to happen if in the next 6 months is more are flown in, more are given money, and more are housed to invade and subjugate us, and the next 4 years it'll be on steroids.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but then we have to defend ourselves any way we have to, just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's what I told my wife, and I'm going to tell him a little bit more about what to do. Basically, I don't want to scare him, but I've told him head on a swivel, and it's just be aware there's a violent gang that is now in North Texas, in Dallas, actually, North Dallas. I appreciate your call.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I got to find, I'm going to play it for you coming up next because it's going to take a minute for me to find it in my archives because the debate stuff was just took over everything so much. But there is a CNN anchor that was had their guy in from the K-Files, which is like their investigative unit, and they investigated Kamala's history over the past several years and all that she's supported publicly, and they were shocked. This liberal CNN anchor you can hear it yourself. She was like, "Are you kidding me?" She could not believe how leftist and progressive and way out there as a leftist that Kamala is and was publicly. And she's never repudiated any of this stuff herself. All she's done is had anonymous aides come out and say, "Oh, no, not anymore." and she's never been held to account. Trump did not hold her account at the debate, which was a big failure on his part. Not on the moderators. They were wrong. They were insanely biased, and they literally destroyed the opportunity to have a real debate. But it was on him. It's not his job to let them. He needs to do their job for them, and he knew that going in that they wouldn't do it. Okay, so I'm going to play for you a couple of sound bites that are amazingly stunning for CNN anchor to be shocked at how leftist Kamala is on this about some of her positions, and also how she pledged to support to cut and defund ICE. She also pledged to provide transgender surgery to detained illegal migrants. That literally is the headline from CNN. Harris pledged to support 2019 to cut ICE funding and provide transgender surgery to detained migrants. That's CNN. This woman is the antithesis of what America is, and this woman is nothing like anybody's ever voted for in this country unless they're a hard leftist. 800-288-9227 is our number, 800-288-9227.